Assalamu alaikum. How are you, my dear students? Hopefully, you're fine. At the beginning of the class, I would like to welcome you to today's session. I am Jahangir Hussain, Assistant Teacher English, Danbir Haji Muhammad Mohsin High School, Joshore. Before going to the class, my dear students, I want to talk something on the awareness of against COVID-19. My dear students, we have started a new normal life. Here we are still not able to lead a normal life, and we have to maintain some hygiene. We have to wash our hands regularly. We have to maintain physical distance. We have to cover our face when we sneeze. We have to wear mask whenever we go out, and above all, we have to be very safe and careful about the virus that has destroyed the world. So, I think you all are very much aware of it, and you also should make other people aware who are not. My dear students, the syllabus of your annual examination has been given by Joshore's Education Board, and I am discussing from English second paper, class 8, one of your items from your English syllabus is transformation. After completing this lesson, you will be able to understand the rules of transformation. You will also be able to transform sentences from affirmative to negative. You will also understand what is transformation. My dear students, let's take an example. You see in the screen, when both or and is used in an affirmative sentence, we use not only dot dot but also to transfer it into negative. That means you have to replace both by not only and by but also. It will keep the meaning intact as well as it will make the sentence negative. Let's take few examples. First one, both Rohim and Karim took part in the game. Negative is we are writing not only in the place of both and but also in the place of and is written in the shortened form. So the negative sentence will be not only Rohim but also Karim took part in the game. You also notice the second example. The guest bought coffee and ice cream. The guest bought not only coffee but also ice cream. My dear students, here is the second rule for you. If an affirmative sentence starts with every, then we use there is no in the place of every. So the structure remains there is no plus subject plus verb plus subject plus but plus verb plus extension. Let's take the example. Affirmative, every teacher advises his students. The negative one, it should be there is no teacher but advise his students. You see, we wrote there is no in the place of every and we have added a but before the verb. So there might be exception of it. I have written it for you. Sometimes we use who in the place of but. You see, every student learns his lesson. There is no student who does not learn his lesson. In this case, you have to make second clause negative. If an affirmative sentence starts with conjunctional phrase as soon as, then we use the following structure. We write no sooner had in the place of as soon as, and we have to make the verb form past participle, and we have also to add a then in the place of the comma. So let's take an example. Affirmative 1. As soon as the teacher entered into the class, the students stood up. So we're writing no sooner had in the place of as soon as and making the verb first participle, and adding than in the place of comma. No sooner had the teacher entered into the class than the students stood up. Let's have a look at the next rule. All the affirmative sentences of superlative degree are transformed into negative following the transformation rule of superlative to positive degree. As usual, we do the change the degrees from positive to superlative. We have to follow the same rule here to make this affirmative into the negative or negative into affirmative. So let's take an example. Dhaka is the biggest city in Bangladesh. Normally we do the positive degree like this. No other city in Bangladesh is as big as Dhaka. So you are doing it negative by changing the degree of it. My dear students, let's see another rule. Sometimes we use not or negative before the opposite of a verb, adjective or adverb, while transforming an affirmative into negative. We most often do it. We use the opposite form of the verb or adjective or adverb and use no or not, etc. So let's take few examples. I shall remember you. The negative should be I shall never forget you. We wrote forget instead of remember. Kamal is a good boy. Kamal is not a bad boy. Kamal, the girl writes quickly. The girl does not write slowly. So let's see some similar opposite words. Many, its opposite is not a few, not many, a little, not much, much, not little, always, never, sometimes, not always. So my dear students, we have another rule. When affirmative sentence is formed with to dot 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 to, then we use the following structure. We write so instead of to, and we write that instead of to, and then the rest part of the sentence, I mean the next clause, we use can, could, depending on the tense, and we also add a not after that. So let's take an example. The man is too poor to buy a shirt. The man is so poor that he cannot buy a shirt. We put so in the place of to, and that in the place of to, and we have also made the sentence like adding can and not, because it's a present tense. If it was a past tense, then we would write could not. So the same example is given in the second sentence. She was too weak to walk. She was so weak that she could not walk. There is of course exception for everything. Here is no exception of that exception. You see, sometimes it may to means thing, then we have to use another indirect object person with it. The milk is too hot to drink, then you have to write the milk is too hot for me that I cannot drink. You have added the person me or I, because to is meaning a thing, that is milk. My dear students, let's go to the next rule. When an affirmative sentence is formed with as dot 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 as, then we use the following structure: subject plus verb plus not less plus adjective plus than plus extension. He is as cunning as his friend. He is not less cunning than his friend. The girl is as beautiful as moon. The girl is not less beautiful than moon. So I'm sure you got it. My dear students, let's go to the next rule. Universal truth sentences are transformed into negative with short form of NT. When a participle verb is used in the sentence, then we use do or does not. Let's take an example. Knowledge is power. Isn't knowledge is power. So we have to make it negative interrogative to make it negative actually. The earth moves around the sun. Doesn't the earth move around the sun? So all these statements are about universal truth, and in this kind of sentence, we have to make it negative interrogative. My dear students, you have a task here. You have to do it at home and show me in the class. You can take a screenshot of this. So that's all for you have a few more tasks. Solve this. So my dear students, that's all for today. See you in the class. Thank you so much.